UPS is back.
Yeah, I know.
They came, they left a little signal.
You all know I do like that stuff.
This is good. Go.
And you don't play the first one, feel the mornings. And you know you go, but still, you can choose on default. Might get over the Rico, hey, hit a nigga with a Rico, hey, say fuck with the right hand. But you looking at me for? That's why I keep a black hand. Might see the little brain, while I'm chilling with the family. Tell them I'm real nigga lame, just an old black and bad. Bitch, I ain't got to play. Bitch, I can't do that. No, nigga came back down. I gotta let you know. Cause I'm wrong, I never left no back down. I gotta let you know. You from the hood in the way, and I never let it go. Shit, I kill my niggas. I gotta let you know. No, nigga came back down. I gotta let you know. Cause I'm wrong, I never left no back down. I gotta let you know. You from the hood in the way, and I never let it go. Shit, I kill my niggas. I She trapped, one more people, real ain't but put it on my lip. And just like that, he's probably bring a whole lot of mouth. You know, let me feed out pop. And I'm ready for the top out. And they ain't never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Never go, nigga can't back down. I'm gonna let you know. Still up the norm, I never let go back down. I'm gonna let you know. You put a hole in the way, and I never let it go. Shit, I kill for my niggas. I'm gonna let you know. No, never go, nigga can't back down. I'm gonna let you know. Still up the norm, I never let go back down. I'm gonna let you know. You put a hole in the way, and I never let it go. Shit, I kill for my niggas. I'm gonna let you know. Any man give his life for your house, shout, so y'all in Christ. And fall upon it that you can't bow. This is my brother and my blood, and I will die he killed for peace. I remember I was only 13 when I met the demon. Give me a goose and a bundle of cocaine. Told me to sell my people and show to keep it clean. And then he tried to show to me, show that you need me. And he said, I'm gonna hold you down with promise, Papa. How you got me moving this dope? Put me in locked up. He said, don't you want the best vertical with the top up? Yeah, I'll get you getting that action. Let it rock up. This is a work, especially when it's pop up. I know you don't want the plug, we might lock up. I tell you a little secret, let's show that you keep your mouth shut. Ron got a Lexus, 30 Texas. They put up my house, got a look for the mama. He fucking up in house, be honest, he said he used to go. I hate you, but I just seen Ron about a week ago. He ain't looking too good, his knees kind of slow. I asked him how his brother, he got started for a drummer, but in 6, I was chasing his leg and he crumbled. Easy got the house, and mama is looking good. Said the best took it all, he right back in the hood. I said he tried to play me, you gave us crack in the 80s. Made us support our babies and make a whole lot of ladies. I know you got me ready for Satan, you must be crazy. It's gonna take more than cars from the amaze me. I see him in the streets of the stars for being lazy. Better get their head at their clouds so you don't face me. I guarantee you more credit than what I said it now. You can get what you say. I can't win. No, that's a nice shot, so I'm telling you again. I ain't like the devil, he's together. He's still a land to together. The hope is people to the next step. We see the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. But we got high with the devil. I look into the eyes of the devil. I ain't like the God with the devil. I ain't religious or superstitious. When we begin to talk and put to the side like a mistress. Police control the body because prison became a business. The murder one lost, they start talking about forgiveness. Think that it's all right because we got public assistance. If this ain't hell, no, what is this? When we don't want back when they took the sour, there was no peace talk like the Dalai Lama. Just like bombs, saying he gon' bring the drama. They got justice, man, they even pulled the Boston bomber. But when we ride, they send the military and armor. When we fight oppression, then people got harder. The real works, some people want calm. But right return, I don't get it all in the farm. But you don't get up the past no more. It's a try to set it forward. Sasha, I change my life, and I'm trying to live like right. But at night I look behind me and see flashing lights. Patting me down, nothing that's open me right. I was smoke a push, still I keep up my life. So nigga, officer, why you wanna take my life? And your honor, why you keep my homeboy's life? I've been wondering, why you shot my homeboy's wife? Pussy with it, you're shooting after he got a knife. You can't come out with these spots, shaking it right. Shit's right, I'm just in a vision on my sight. As 25, I'm proud and hot early. Every long as smoke belt, the angle open sterling. You want it down? The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. The white man is so devilish. Ask Hammurabi, he'll tell you who the devil is. I ain't got the devil, we together. We just fell the land in together. The hope is getting to the next level. When we see the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. But we got high with the devil. Look into the eyes of the devil. I ain't like the God with the devil.
Hey, shalom, Israel, shalom. We got sisters in the chat. Sister KJ, shalom. Courtney, shalom. Dasha, shalom. Y'all Shamar, the Thunderbox, outside. I'm saying. So all the brothers, man, Yahweh Bashim, y'all Shabbat. About to get it started, man. Any questions? If I can't answer them, I will. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I'll definitely try to get the breakdown for you, and myself or Austin the shop will answer it for you next week. So if you got any questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat, in the comment section. Matter of fact, I'll let the music play just a little bit longer in case y'all want to get y'all questions together.
War with the hands, that's what I'm all about. Hunger in my eyes, vengeance in my mouth. They don't want no altercation. Situation gon' get critical. It's best that you be easy. The end going and critical. Look like a river. It's something like a miracle. Royalty in my veins, loyalty in my ways. Pay back and learn the curse. That's revenge in my heart. The truth in every word. Bring light into the dark. Night never before. Shit, I plays in niggas' seats. Got plenty to do for dogs. Just gotta watch on my feet. Not to walking with them things. So I guess I got this pistol for no reason. Niggas say it's breathing. Criticizing all my achievements. Won't make me weak. Nah, it won't make me slack off. These niggas.
Yes, it is Solomon. Song of Solomon 1 and 10. Yes. Solomon was rocking grills. He had what's it called? Jewels in his mouth. You know what I'm saying?
U.P.K, and they in the way. My niggas right. They real. They down with something. Flow.
As the culture of Israel, you know what I'm saying? We fly with everything we do. So we the ones with the big chains and big, necklaces, the big earrings, you know what I'm saying, and jewelry in our mouth. You know what I mean? And the whole world copies after us because we are the salt of the earth.
Absolutely. And I ain't sure no ways for nothing. Gotta execute it. Cause I can never down my tail tucked between my legs. Shit I be thinking. Watching my daughters up in their bed.
I get I get Song of Solomon.
But they ain't like other babies.
Song of Solomon 1. Solomon 1 and 10.
They know the shit I used to do on that 98 day. And 10 level 6. See, without wisdom, this world make me weak. I found out that the truth is filthy. The lies I speak, try everything. I guess me, the hard head me. Now I make the blind see, and I make the dead speak. And teach both my little girls the day and day. Lie with a man, they better bring the blood and bed sheets. Chaos rest the time. This block mess my head.
Alright. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Shalom, Yahweh, Shem Yahshua Brakatah, Yahweh, How Shamar, Alatham Shem Yahshua. I'm preaching officer 500 Itazab out of South Florida. We're here at the headquarters in Riviera Beach. You understand? So we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we are not affiliated with anybody. You understand? We are under Commander General Yohanna, the leader of all Israel. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said before, if you do have questions, I'll try my best to answer them. Just put them in the comment section. So first, real quick, we're gonna get Song of Solomon. The sister asked about Song of Solomon, and if Solomon was wearing at what we call grills today. All right, so if you got that,
Put this in scripture in the comment section.
Song of Solomon 1 and 10. You know what I mean? We that's what this class is for, man. We whatever questions you have according to the Bible, and especially today, since it's the law class, according to the law, you know what I'm saying, you are able to ask those questions. Unlike the Christian church where, you will get scrutinized or chastised for asking a question. You know what I'm saying? We do not do that here. We want you to ask all the questions, no matter how absurd they may seem, or no matter how the world may look at your question. You understand? Because we didn't know at one point in time. And what we had to do was ask these questions so that we would know. So ask all your questions today. You got that, sir?
Yeah.
We are in the, oh, I'm sorry, you gonna say it?
No, go ahead.
We are in the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 1. I'm not sure where we're gonna start at.
I mean,
Yeah.
10.
10 straight up? All right, come on.
Put it in the comments.
Right. All right, Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 10. Whenever you're ready, sir.
This is the book of the Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 10. Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels.
Mm-hmm. So, if I may, can we start at 5?
Yeah,
Because this is why I'm starting at 5. Because, like the sister asked, was Solomon wearing grills? You know what I'm saying? If you haven't noticed, you know what I'm saying, somebody else wearing grills today, myself. You know what I mean? So, and just like Solomon, I am black. You know what I'm saying? Grills and jewelry in my mouth is our culture. You know what I mean? So, if you could, go ahead, sir.
The Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
I am black, but comely.
I am what?
Black, but comely.
Solomon is saying, I am black, but I'm beautiful. You understand? This is the term that we hear a lot these days. Black and beautiful, or I'm black but beautiful. You know what I mean? Because Solomon is letting you know, like, listen, I'm a nigga, just like you, just like Austin the Shop, just like the brothers and sisters in this class. I'm black and I'm beautiful. You know what I mean? Read on.
I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
Right. That comely means beautiful. Mm-hmm.
As the tents of Kedar,
Mm-hmm.
as the curtains of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me.
Right. If I could go, you can drop down to 10. So,
Verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels.
Right. His cheeks are comely with rows of jewels. So, for one, he's talking about the rows between his cheeks, right? His cheek, you have cheeks on either side of your mouth. What's in between those cheeks? Rows, right? You got your top row of teeth, and you got your bottom row of teeth. So it's talking about his rows that's between his cheeks, right? Read again.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 10. Thy cheeks are comely with rows.
Your cheeks are beautiful with those rows
of jewels.
Of jewels, man. Because why? Because Solomon had jewels in his mouth, on his top row and his bottom row of teeth. Read on.
Thy neck with chains of gold.
Thy neck with chains of gold. We rock gold around our neck. You know what I'm saying? Because that's our style, man. That's how we get down. You know what I mean? You see, you look at, they call it the hip hop look, right? They call it when you wearing golds and chains, they call it the hip hop look. And then other nations copy it and they say, yes, the hip hop look. No, it's the nigga look. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how niggas look. You know what I mean? Like, this is how Solomon looked. This is how David looked. This is how Yahushua looked. All these brothers and sisters that you read about in these scriptures, they look like this. You know what I mean? They were comely with rows of jewels and with big, bulky gold Cuban link chains on their neck. You know what I mean? Like Run DMC. So that's it on that. Hope that answered your question, sis. questions. If I could, let me get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. All right. This is a cornerstone scripture in the One West I.S.U.P.K scripture right here, man, that we all should keep near and dear to our minds, man, to always remind us that we are to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you can start at 1.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
That's what we're sit here to do, man. We're here. One, the I.S.U.P.K is here to tell you the voice of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? To prophesy unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel that there are commandments that we need to keep. You know what I mean? There's laws that are still in effect to this day. They haven't gone anywhere. They haven't, like Christ said, not one jot or one tittle shall be removed from this law, man. Like, these laws are still here to this day. We got to keep every last one of them. But the only way you're going to know the laws that you have to keep is if you come to class, you understand, and learn what these laws are. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn that that the laws do exist still, and 2, how to keep them. You know what I'm saying? What are these laws? So that's what we're teaching you today. So it says, shall come to pass that thou shalt hearken diligently, meaning with all your might, you know what I'm saying? With every ounce of your soul and your body, you are going to hearken or listen to these commandments. Read on.
If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe.
To observe, meaning to watch, meaning to take in, so to speak, and observe, right? Read.
And to do all his commandments.
And to do them. So not only do you have to listen to them and watch for them and learn what they are, not only do you have to learn what the commandments are, you also have to do what?
And to do.
You have to do them as well. Read on.
All his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
No, Donald Trump is going to set you on high.
The Lord thy God.
No, Biden is going to set you on high.
The Lord thy God.
Whoever you vote, Obama is going to set you on high.
The Lord thy God.
The Lord is going to do what?
Will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
See, we trying to be equal to our oppressors in America. We want to, have voting rights and civil rights and march in the street for justice and, beg and plead our oppressors to give us some crumbs so that way we're not so destroyed in America and starving in America every day. We want to go to the people who put us in our position to be destroyed and ask them for some crumbs so that we don't get destroyed. When we have a power, man, we have the Most High, who's the God of Israel, who said, if you just listen to me and keep my commandments, then I'm going to put you above those people. You understand? You should want to be not equal to the people that oppress you. You should want to be above them. You understand? Why would you want to be on the same level as the people that are oppressing you? It's not going to benefit you anything. And it's not even possible. If there's a land that's ruled by the people that are oppressing you, and they have the oppressed in their captivity, then it'll never be an equality, because their kingdom wouldn't stand if their oppressed weren't being oppressed. You know what I'm saying? If the slaves were no longer slaves, then the place that was built on slavery would fall. So there cannot be an equality. You have to serve the Most High and say to hell with your oppressor so that you can be put above them. You understand? And the only way you're gonna do that is by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Is that in on that? All right. You can drop that. We're gonna get the book of Leviticus, chapter 11. Uh, 11 and Shalom. How about you? I shut up the Kazak tomorrow in the class, man. The water for tuning in, sir. Shalom, trooper. Yo, what's up? Okay. So like we get verse 40. Okay, let me start at 38. No, Salaki. Let me start at chapter 15. Leviticus chapter 15. You can begin at the beginning. No, start at 16. Salaki. We'll go back to the beginning. So we're gonna get Leviticus chapter 16. I'm sorry, 15, verse 16. Leviticus 16. All right. So I'm putting the scriptures that we're at in the comment section, just in case you want to catch up to where we are. Right now we have Leviticus chapter 15, 16. Good.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 15 and verse 16. And if any man,
So like if I could, so just to give y'all while you fix that, just to give y'all kind of the backstory of what's going on, and let y'all know, kind of paint the picture for you. The laws require that we be a clean people, a clean nation. You understand? That's our culture. Our culture is cleanliness. It's not filth and dirt. You know what I mean? And going days and days without showering or bathing. You know what I'm saying? That's your oppressor's culture. He's the one that had to be taught how to use water to bathe himself, and then had to learn how to use a rag, and then had to learn how to actually use soap. You know what I mean? So he's the one that had to be taught cleanliness. But it has always been in our culture to be a clean people, contrary to what they teach you in your public schools and in society today, that black people are filthy or disgusting. That is absolutely false. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with those dirty, nasty dreadlocks. They are disgusting and they are not to be worn if you are Israelite. That is not our culture. You understand? Those are our filthy nations' culture. They grow their dreadlocks out and don't wash their hair and don't comb their hair and just let it knot up and grow. And there's all these dead follicles that are attached to their head that has not been cleaned thoroughly. You know what I mean? Not to get sidetracked into that topic, but that's another unclean culture from these other nations. Whereas our culture is to be clean. And when a man lays down with a woman, after they lay down together and they have sex, you understand? And that seed of copulation, aka semen, comes forth out of his body, he's now unclean. And he has to wash himself. But we're gonna read this. Look.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 15 and verse 16. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him.
Can I get the definition of copulation? What would we show? as the school is, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna learn every aspect of this Bible. You know what I'm saying? That includes having a dictionary. So if you don't have a dictionary, you definitely want to invest in one or get the app so that you can be able to look up words that you may not know or may not be sure about, especially when reading the King James version, which is translated into Old Quaker English. There's a lot of words that if you don't understand them, you can get very confused or you know have a misunderstanding when it comes to this book. So we're gonna get the word copulation in the dictionary. If it's in the Bible dictionary, it's well. If not, it don't. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Population, the Oxford Language Dictionary. Sexual intercourse.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. That's all you really need. Sexual intercourse. You understand? So, what is the seed of sexual intercourse? You know what I'm saying? This is gonna tell you two things real quick. One, that the man carries the seed. You understand? Because if you read the verse again, it says, "And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him," you know what I'm saying? So that seed, what is that seed? What is the seed of copulation? What happens when a man gets to the point during sexual intercourse where a seed comes out? What happens? You know what I'm saying? It's called semen. It's called sperm. You know what I'm saying? So lucky if you are under that age level to be in this class, but that's what we talking about right now. You know what I'm saying? This is sex ed in the Bible. The seed of copulation is that sperm cell that comes out of a man when he's excited during sex, when he's at his climax during sex. You understand? So what happens? Verse 16.
Verse 16. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all
what?
his flesh.
It's like he shall what?
Wash.
He shall what?
Wash.
Read.
All his flesh in water.
Meaning he got to get up in that shower, man. He got to get in that shower, get in that bathtub, and wash his flesh, man. Wash his skin, wash his whole body. Read on.
And be unclean until the evening.
And then he's going to be unclean until the evening. Meaning he's going to be unclean until night, until the sun goes down. Right? This is our culture right here in the Bible. After we have sex, we don't lay in our filth and you know soak up each other's juices or whatnot. We hop in the shower, man. We get in the shower, we wash all that filth off, you understand? Because sex is great and it's ordained by the Most High. And it's something that we ought to do as man and woman together. But you have to clean yourself after it's done with. After you done spilled that, after you done your seed of copulation came from you, now you have to go get in the shower and wash it all off and be unclean until the evening. Meaning what? You won't go around other brothers and you know be with other priests because they're going to become unclean, and we're going to get that too. But you are going to be unclean until the evening. Read on.
Verse 18. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation.
Meaning, even that woman who laid down with that man, and now that seed of copulation is on her, in her, what have you. She also read. Oh, sorry.
They both bathe themselves in water.
Right. They both gotta bathe in water. They both gotta clean themselves up, shower, get clean, and then they'll be. Oh, so like, he's gonna read it. So they both got to shower. They both got to bathe. And what?
They both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening.
And they both gonna be unclean. Man. That's what happens after you have sex with a woman. You understand? Your seed comes out of you, and now both of y'all are unclean, the man and the woman. All right. Let's get verse. Let's just continue with 19, and then we'll jump back at verse 1.
Verse 19. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood.
So this is talking about a flow of blood, right? Women go through this at least once a month, where they have a blood flow that they can't just stop. It's an issue, and it's flowing for a certain amount of time. They call it menstruation, right? Or in layman's terms, her period. So when a woman, listen, man, this is all science in this Bible. Anybody that says that the Bible and science don't correlate doesn't know a damn thing. You understand? Like they are absolutely insane, and they don't understand the Bible, because this is science in the Bible. This is sex ed in the Bible. And if we just, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, focused on this Bible, we would know this. We wouldn't need Esau's sex education in his public school. If we study this Bible, everything we need to know is right here in this book. It says, "No man shall want her mate." Meaning, there ain't no book you can put next to this Bible that's on a higher scholarly level. You read this book and you're gonna know everything you need to know. Everything else is just just gonna add on to it. You know what I mean? But this is all you need. This book right here. It tells you what happens during sex, and what happens in the population, the seat of copulation. Tells you what happens when you're on your period or during your menstruation. It's all right here. It tells you what happens when a woman gives birth. All of that. All we need right here is this Bible. That's what Black people need to understand. That this is not your oppressor's book. This is your book, and it's a manual for how you need to live your life, what to do with your body. You know what I'm saying, and how to care for a nation. So if we could, man, let's read that one more time.
Verse 18. Verse 19. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days.
7 days, man. That's about how long the menstruation cycle lasts. Some people it's shorter, some people it's longer. All right. So I'm sorry. Select it. So if you know what I'm saying, if she has that issue of blood, she shall be put apart. What does that tell you? What does that shall tell you? It tells you it's a commandment. It's a law. She has to be put away. She has to be put apart from the camp and from from everybody else in Israel, because she's unclean. Right? Read on.
And whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening.
Right. So now, if you touch her, if she's not put away, and you come nearer to her, and she touch you or you touch her, then you're now unclean as well until the evening. You understand? So read on.
And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean.
Right. Read on.
Everything also that she setteth upon shall be unclean.
So listen, everything she touched, whether it's her bed sheets, whether it's the seat that she sat on, you understand? All of that stuff is unclean. So I don't want to jump ahead too much, but you understand? This is part of the reason why a woman should not be up in church trying to be the pastor. She up in the church and she's in there every day of the week. Whole time she's unclean. She's on her period, and now she's sitting in the preacher's chair leaving her filth behind. You know what I mean? She's up on that stage, up on that pulpit they call, and she got the whole pulpit unclean. And she's supposed to be put away for 7 days, but she's in the church. You know what I mean? If you are a woman and you have an issue of blood, you are to be put away from from everybody, from all of Israel for 7 days, because you are unclean. Everything that you touch is unclean. Everything you sit upon or lay on is unclean. You understand? Read.
Everything that she lieth upon and her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes.
You gotta do what?
Wash his clothes.
Why? Because we are a clean people. We wash our clothes, man. We wash our flesh when we're unclean. Right? If you touch her bed, if you just so touch her bed, now you gotta wash your clothes. And what else?
And batheth himself in water.
And you gotta bathe yourself in water, man. You gotta hop in that shower as if you're contaminated, because you are. You unclean now. You understand? So you gotta take off them clothes, throw them in the laundromat. You know what I'm saying? Back then we probably would hand wash them in the however we used to do it. But today, Esau made it a little simpler for you. Just go to the Salaki. I'll take that back now. Esau had a brother invent something to where you can wash your clothes right in the comfort of your own home. You understand? So all you gotta do is throw those filthy clothes in that whirlpool or what have you, and hit the cycle. And then you gotta go and hop in that shower and bathe yourself.
Yeah, so but that's heavy what you said, because Tyrone invented it, but Whirlpool get all the
credit.
All the credit or whatever for it.
You get the popularity, you get the name, you know what I mean? Like Whirlpool is making millions and millions of dollars off of Tyrone's invention. Whoever.
It was some slave owner, his last name was Whirlpool.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Tyrone was tired of washing his clothes by hand.
Right.
Or watching his woman have to do it.
Right.
And he said, let me figure out a way, we don't have to work so hard. Everything that is a luxury here in America right now came from black people not wanting to, trying to make their slavery easy.
Yes. That is very true, man. Give it up. You know what I'm saying? That is so true. Like if there's a way to make cotton picking easier, best believe a nigga made it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is hell picking cotton. So that being said, where we at now, sir?
Verse 21, verse 22.
Verse 22.
And whosoever toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water.
Right. Same thing if you touch something she sit on. Whether it be something she laid on or something she sit on. You gotta wash them clothes and hop your butt in that tub. Read.
And be unclean until the evening. And if it be on her bed or on anything whereon she sitteth, when he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the evening. And if any man lie with her at all, and her flower be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days.
So how many days?
7 days.
Listen, man, now her flower done got up on you, and now you are gonna be unclean. You're gonna be sitting right next to her while she go through her while she's being put away from the congregation, so to speak. You understand? You're gonna be right along with her 7 days, because her flower, her issue is now on you. You know what I mean? At first it was just you touched something she sat on, touched her or touched the bed she lay on. Now it's the flower is on you. So you now are unclean for 7 days. You still gotta wash your clothes, you still gotta wash your body. You're gonna be unclean right along with your woman. Good?
And if any woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation,
Meaning if the issue go on longer than 7 days when she's supposed to be separated,
or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanliness shall be as the days of her separation.
Right. If her flower lasts longer than 7 days, let's say it lasts 8 days, then she will have to be separated for those entire 8 days until the sun go down on the 8th day. Right? If it's 14 days, that's how long her separation has got to last. So it went from 7. She might have been spotting for 3 days, right? Or it's like she might have had her menstruation for 3 days. At the end of those 7, she would still be unclean for those 7 days out of her separation, even though her menstruation only lasted 3. She still got to go through those 7 days. But if it go beyond those 7 days, then she got to stay separated until she's no longer having this issue. You understand? Where we at? Read on.
She shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lieth, all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation.
Right.
And whatsoever she setteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanliness of her separation. And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
Right. A whole lot of unclean washing and bathing. You understand? Because this is our law. This is how we govern ourselves in the nation of Israel. So we don't pass on diseases. So we don't pass on sicknesses. We separate. Listen. We quarantined before COVID. This is in the Bible. We was quarantining way before COVID-19, way before what's it called? Omicron. We had the law of quarantining way before that. You had an issue, you separated for 7 days. If your man gets your issue on him, he's unclean as well. And y'all gonna wash and bathe until for 7 days until the evening, until that last night, until the sun go down on the 7th day, or until if you're like I said before, if your woman got a menstruation for 17 days, on that 17th day, that's when y'all gonna be clean. You know what I'm saying? After y'all done wash and bathe, then you're gonna be clean. You know what I mean? So that's the law on bathing. We are a clean people, man. That's how we should keep it, man. Don't let Esau's ways rub off on you, for lack of better words. You know what I mean? You are supposed to be a clean person. You're supposed to wash and bathe every night. You know what I mean? And especially if you are unclean. So let's go to verse 1 of the same chapter real quick.
Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel.
Speak unto who?
The children of Israel.
No, the children of Esau.
The children of Israel.
The children of your oppressor.
The children of Israel.
The children of Church of God and Jesus Christ.
The children of Israel.
Read.
And say unto them, when any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue, he is unclean.
Right. See, a man can have an issue as well, right? He could be bleeding uncontrollably. He might have an issue where he bleeds out of some part of his body. You know what I'm saying? And it's an issue. He also has to be unclean. It says, when any man hath a running issue out of his flesh because of his issue, he is unclean. So this isn't like just a cut you get. You know what I'm saying? You scratch yourself and you start to bleed. That's not a running issue. You hold your wound long enough, it'll stop the bleeding, right? So that's not a running issue. A running issue is blood that can't be stopped, just like the period, just like the menstruation, where you can't, no matter what you plug it with, it's going to keep bleeding, right? So a man can have that issue as well. And it says, because of his issue, he is unclean. Read on.
Verse 3. And this shall be his uncleanliness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue. It is his uncleanliness.
Right. So now, you even if it's a running issue or if it's something that can be stopped, he's gonna be unclean. Right? Until what does it say?
Every bed whereon he lieth that hath an issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean.
Right. Somebody had to do it. Okay. Should I do that?
Go ahead, I get it.
And whosoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself, man. If this man has an issue of blood, anything he sit on or lay on is unclean. And if any man touch his bed or anything he sat on is unclean as well. You understand? He's got to wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. Be unclean until the sun goes down. Right? So that's the law, man. Like this is not in just because you're a man. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're a man doesn't make the issue any different. Just like a woman has to bathe herself and wash her clothes after she slept. So it's like, just like a woman has to wash her clothes and bathe herself when she's unclean, a man has to wash himself and bathe when he's unclean. You understand? All right, so we can drop that. Let me get Leviticus chapter 17, verse 1. Oh, for sure.
Put it in the chat.
Leviticus. All right, so we are at the book of Leviticus, chapter 17, verse 1. Some trolls up in here, man. What is going on? All right, go ahead.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 17 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded, saying.
He did what?
Hath commanded.
He commanded this. In other words, this is a law, man. The commandment coming from the Most High, saying,
What man soever there be of the house of Israel that killeth an ox or lamb or goat in the camp, or that killeth it out of the camp.
hold on, so I think we started a little too high. That's not what I wanted to get. Okay, let me get verse 15.
Leviticus chapter 17 and verse 15. And every soul that eateth that which dieth of itself, or that which was torn with beasts, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water.
Right. You know what I'm saying? If you eat something that died of itself, meaning you find something on the side of the road, now it's a clean animal. It's clean, it's an ox or a goat, or people don't really run over those a lot, but something you might hit in a deer. You hit a deer on the side of the road, so like that would be you killed it. But if you find a deer on the side of the road and you didn't kill it, it died on its own, and you eat that, so like go ahead.
Yeah, it also says which was torn, or that which was torn with beasts. I mean,
Mm-hmm. So meaning like it was killed by another animal.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? If it died of itself or was killed by another animal, then you shall both wash and bathe, man. You gotta wash your clothes and bathe your skin, man, in water. And be what?
And bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
You gotta bathe, you gotta wash and bathe, and you're gonna be unclean until the evening.
Then shall he be clean.
Then you're gonna be clean. After the sun done went down and you done took your bath, and you done washed your clothes, now you are clean. You know what I mean? Read on from there.
Verse 16. But if he wash them not, nor bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity.
You should read that one more time, go Michelle.
But if he wash them not,
meaning if he don't wash his clothes and he don't bathe, read,
nor bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity.
Then he gonna bear his iniquity, man. It's an iniquity for you to be unclean, and in this instance, for you to eat an animal that died of itself, and then not wash your clothes and bathe your body. It's an iniquity, and you gotta bear that if you don't wash your clothes and bathe before the sun go down. You know what I'm saying? So that's it on that. So let's go to, did we already read 11? Yeah, we read 11. Let me get it. Leviticus chapter 12. Right? So we see what happens when you have an issue of blood. You see what happens when your seed of copulation goes from before you, right? And we see what happens if you eat something that died of itself or that was killed by another beast, right? You are unclean and you gotta wash your clothes and bathe your body. This is a continuing trend throughout these laws that you wash yourself and bathe yourself. So if you are someone who has done these things, you know what I'm saying? For instance, having sex with a woman and you climax, right? Now you need to wash your body and wash your clothes, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're not, then you're gonna bear that iniquity. You know what I mean? You ought to wash those things, and you know what I'm saying, then you'll be keeping the laws and the commandments. So the book of Leviticus chapter 12, you can start at 1. Hold on, let me write it in the chat. It's like 12. So we're going into the book of Leviticus. Of course, the book of Leviticus is countless amounts of laws that was given to us. You know what I mean? By the Levitical priesthood, by Moses specifically, that we are to keep these commandments and do them. Now, so like it said in Deuteronomy 28, 15 and 1. So like, not only do you have to observe them, meaning we observing them right now, we're reading them, we're reading about them, and we're going over them in the scriptures. not only are you supposed to do that, but now you also have to do. You understand? So this is a book. This Bible is a book of things that you must do in order to serve the Most High. Read.
If I may. So like to observe is like to see what it is. You know what I mean? Like if you observe something, you're seeing it, you're looking at it, right? So to observe it is to see it and know what it is.
Right.
Okay? Like you have to observe it, you know what I mean? And like you were saying, you know what I mean, like 2021, you need priests and prophets to tell you. So so you can observe it, because we think the laws are done away with.
Right.
We think, you know what I mean, we can be nasty and filthy and walk around and it's not a problem. But the Lord says something different, obviously. Right. You know what I mean? So to observe it is to see it, and you have to have the priests and prophets of the Israelite school, universal practical knowledge, show you and tell you what it is so you can observe it.
Right. Most High Christ, the water. Because not only, you know what I'm saying, you can see that the Israelite school, universal practical knowledge, are those priests, man. Not that three-piece suit wearing pimping pastor that you call your pastor in the church, man. You understand? He doesn't teach you these laws and commandments. He tells you this is why we have to work so hard, because he's telling you that you don't got to keep the laws and commandments. This is why in 2021, going into 2022, you have to be told what the laws are. When they're written in a book, they're written right here in the same book that your pastor owns. It's the biggest, it's the #1 selling book in all of the world. Everybody's buying this book, but nobody knows what the commandments are. Nobody knows you have to keep the commandments. Not even the people that this book was given to and written for. You know what I mean? We have to be taught these things because we've been lied to. So we have to be taught to bathe our bodies after we have sexual intercourse. So we gotta be taught to bathe ourselves when we touch something unclean or when we have our children. You know what I mean? We gotta be taught this. Something you shouldn't have to be taught. These are things that you should know by second nature because this is your book. Like the scriptures say, they shall no longer teach their neighbor, you know what I'm saying, to keep to. Right. They'll no longer have to teach their neighbor one another, you know what I'm saying, because it's gonna be written in your hearts or whatnot. Right. That we were supposed to know this like back of our hands. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't have had to been taught this over again. Shouldn't have had to been taught that after you lay with that girl, you better hop in the shower. We shouldn't have been taught that. But because we stopped keeping these laws and commandments and we went away from this book right here, now we gotta learn elementary stuff over again. You know what I mean? Just like I was saying with the sexual education, we gotta learn that stuff again. You know what I'm saying? Your child learns that in middle school. In middle school, they teach your child sex ed. And now here you are, 45 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like not to laugh at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not laughing at nobody.
If I could. I was gonna say something. I'm gonna date myself. I know
it's anonymous.
That's the age where people are finding out the truth.
Thank you.
Like, you know what I mean? You 45, you 55, you 65, and you just finding out the truth. Right. That you've been lied to for a century. Right. Or decades. Like you've been lied to for decades.
And we as a people been lied to for centuries.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely like on a personal level, we've been lied to for decades. You know what I mean? And sometimes I be thinking back like, man, I wish I was younger when I found this truth. And honestly, that's like what the priest is saying. Like it's so true. Like I'm pretty young for my age. You know what I'm saying? To know the truth. Because there's a lot of brothers who didn't get it until they was in their 40s or until they was in their 50s or whatnot. You know what I mean? So that's fortunate. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're a brother who gets it at the age of 17, you know what I mean? Like there's brothers that's as young as 17 years old that's holding a rank in the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing, man. So You at the age of 45, you now have to go back and learn that there's laws that you got to keep. There's rules that tell you when to shower, when to wash your clothes. You know what I mean? So, Leviticus, you got 12 and 1?
Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and bore a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days.
Right. If I may, let's get conceived. Right. We get the word conceive, what it means, because it says if a woman conceives seed. We spoke about seed earlier, right? We know what seed is now. That same seed of copulation. So what happens when a woman conceives seed? I got it right here. If it's not in the Bible, it's not in the Bible dictionary. So, all right, I got it right here. Okay. Conceived in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, to become pregnant with, right? So to become pregnant with seed, to become pregnant with seed, that seed of copulation, that sperm cell, that semen, you became pregnant with semen, right? So that's what it's saying in Leviticus 12 and 2, that if a woman have conceived seed, became pregnant with seed, and born a man child, read on, born meaning she gave birth to a man, she gave birth to a baby boy. Read.
Then she shall be unclean 7 days.
Now she's going to be unclean for 7 days because of this, because she just gave birth, right? So it's a time when you're unclean when the seed of copulation comes out of you. It's a time when you're unclean when the woman is going through an issue, or man. You know what I'm saying? Man can have an issue. If there's an issue of blood, then you're unclean. And if you giving birth, a woman is giving birth to a baby boy, she's unclean 7 days. Read on.
According to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean.
Right. She's gonna be unclean, man, for those 7 days because of giving birth to a child. Read on.
Verse 3. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
Right. Now he's going to be circumcised in that 8th day, as is the law. You know what I mean? He's that baby boy now has to be circumcised on the 8th day. You know what I mean? Continue. Talk we should.
Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 3. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised, and she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come in the sanctuary until the day of her purifying be fulfilled.
Right. So she's going to be put away for 33 days. You know what I mean? After she done gave birth and after she done circumcised her child. She's not going to go around anybody or touch anybody or anything that somebody else may touch. She's being pure. This is the purifying of her blood. Right? 33 days. Let your woman rest for them 33 days. And then after that, you can get it on. You know what I mean? Read on.
Verse 5. But if she bear a maid child,
Now, if she give birth to a woman, a little girl, read.
then she shall be unclean 2 weeks.
2 weeks. How long is 2 weeks? It's 14 days. All right. She gonna be. This is twice as long as the baby boy. The baby boy, she's unclean 7 days. The little girl now she's unclean 14 days, 2 weeks. Right.
Yeah, you know, you might want to like ask questions or stuff like that. Try to like Verse 5. But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days.
66 days. Right. So we know it. Hold on.
66.
3 score. What is a score? Anybody know what a score is? All right. Anybody know what a score is? Type it in the chat. So she's gonna be separated for 66 days. All right. So these are all scriptures about being unclean and what happens when you're unclean. You're gonna be separated for a time. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be unclean for a time. And you have to wash your clothes and bathe your body. Anybody know? All right, we got Sister KJ, you know what I'm saying? Give her a hand. She says 20 days. All right. So I mean, well, 20, whatever the score is. Just one score a day is 20 days.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, the score is 20. So 3 times 20 would be 60 plus the 66 days. Right? So she gonna be separated for 66 days. The boy was only 33. She only had to be separated for 33 days in her purification. For the girl, it's twice that. It's twice as long as she's unclean, and it's twice as long when she's separated. For the boy, she's unclean 7 days and separated for 33 days. And the girl, she's unclean for 14 days and she's separated for 66 days. So it's double. You know what I'm saying? Double trouble. You have a girl, man. That's double trouble. Hey, man, listen, big up to anybody out there that got little girls, man. I hope y'all raise them right in this truth, man, because it is, from what I see, it is not no easy task. You know what I mean? So I commend all y'all with babies, especially girls. You know what I mean? That is correct, since it is 20. The score is 20. All right. Where we at?
Verse 6.
Okay, yeah, we can finish that out.
Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 6. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year.
Okay, yeah, we can drop that. We read Leviticus 11, right? We didn't read 11.
Yeah, we was in 11. Oh no, we did.
Okay, yeah, let's go to Leviticus chapter 11, verse. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was starting to read this one, but then I jumped to the other one. So Leviticus 11, chapter 36, I guess. Yeah, we can start at 36.
Verse 36.
And just give you a backdrop of this. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know, now you know that there are clean and unclean beasts, right? That's written in this chapter. There are clean beasts, which the Lord said that you can, that are meat for you and that you can eat. And then there are unclean beasts that are not meat for you, so you cannot eat them. They are unclean, right? So there's laws about clean and unclean all throughout the scriptures. There's unclean things you can eat. You can't eat, and then there are clean things that you can eat. And this is going to show you. This is going to go into depth of what happens when something unclean dies, right? So without further ado, let's just go get straight into it. Put it in the chat real quick. Leviticus 11, and we are at 36, correct? 36. I guess we'll give them a second to get it. Just a few seconds. Meanwhile, any questions on what we covered so far, man? Go ahead and put them in the comments. We got 6 people watching, 5 likes. All right, go ahead, sir.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse 36. Nevertheless, a fountain or pit wherein there is plenty of water shall be clean, but that which toucheth their carcass shall be unclean.
Right. Nevertheless, a fountain or pit wherein there is plenty of water shall be clean, but that which touches their carcass shall be unclean. Meaning, any water that touches a dead an unclean animal, right? Any part of their carcass, if it touch them, then that makes that water unclean. All right. You can't use that water, not to drink, not to bathe with, not to wash your clothes with. If you find the animal in the fountain, so like I'm jumping ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Verse 36. Nevertheless, a fountain or a pit wherein there is plenty of water shall be clean, but that which toucheth their carcass shall be unclean. And if any part of their carcass fall upon the sowing seed which is to be sold, it shall be unclean.
Right, even the seed. What is the seed of sowing? Anybody? What is the seed of sowing? Sowing seed, which is to be sown.
According to the Christian church.
Right. No.
According to the Bible.
Right, according to the Bible. According to the Christian church, man, ain't no such thing as an unclean seed. Sowing seed. Let me sow a seed. That's unclean. Can't take that. That's unclean. What?
Never say that.
Right.
They'll never say that.
They'll never say that. This is why drug dealers have their way in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Flourish.
Yeah, they flourish in the hood. It's a church on every. Look at where we at right now. It's a church on every corner. I mean, like literally, you just ride down the road to this spot. It's a church everywhere. Then you get to the spot and it's a church. 3 churches next to it. but crack is filling the streets like no tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because they let it flourish. There's no unclean sown seed. This isn't what that's talking about, but that is funny. That's true. So nobody wanted, man. Apparently, we got 5 people and none of them. No, it's all right. That's why we in class to learn. You know what I mean? So that sowing seed. I was inside. You wanna?
No,
You wanna? All right. So that sowing seed, man, it's your crops. You know what I'm saying? What you sow in the ground to get food, right? If a carcass touch those seeds, then they unclean. Which tells you what? You gotta throw away all them seeds, man. You can't grow that. You can't put that in the ground and make the ground unclean and make the your crop unclean. That's probably the only way that you can make unclean fruits and vegetables. Ain't no unclean fruits and vegetables. But if you sow some unclean seeds, you won't have some unclean fruits and vegetables. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to sow that. It shall be selected. And if any part of the carcass shall fall upon any sown seed which is to be sown, it shall be clean. Oh, it's like maybe I jumped ahead. You know what? Hey, look, I'm gonna have to wear that one. Salaki. I jumped too far ahead on that one. It says it shall be clean. So I'm gonna touch back on that one. Salaki. Let's gonna move on past that. So disregard that. Salaki. I'm gonna get thorough. I'm gonna investigate that one more thoroughly. All right. Verse 38, if you could.
Verse 38. But if any water be put upon the seeds, and any part of their carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean unto you.
Right. So if any water be put upon the seed, and any part of their carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean unto you. Right. So yeah, it's going to be unclean if that water that was touched by that carcass is poured on that seed, or if the carcass falls on it, then it's unclean to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have to get a better breakdown on the 37, but 38 definitely is letting you know it's unclean unto you. You can't have those. You can't eat those seeds or enjoy those seeds. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah. So 39.
Verse 39. And if any beast of which ye may eat die,
Mhm.
he that toucheth the carcass thereof shall be unclean until evening.
Right. Like this is like what we were reading before. If an animal die of itself, right? It's clean, but it died, and you touch it, you are going to be unclean. Right? Ye shall not. Where we at? 39. And if any beast of which ye may eat, meaning you can't eat. This is a clean animal. This is a goat or a lamb or a deer. This is a clean animal, but it dies. Right? Meaning you didn't kill it. You didn't hunt it down for food or for its hide. Right? It died. It says, he that touches the carcass thereof shall be unclean until the evening. Right? You understand? So you got to make sure whatever animal that you get in for food or for clothing, you make sure that you kill it. And this is why, this is one of the scriptures that let me know that those Gadites, those Reubenites, man, definitely are one of the two of the tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. You understand? Like they understand this book. They live by this book. When they use an animal for its meat or for its fur, they made sure it was clean and they made sure that they killed it. They would not take some animal that died of itself and use it for meat. You know what I mean? They hunted their own animals and used every bit of it down to the bones, right? Because that's the type of people that we are, man. We kill our own animals and we eat what we kill. And we use their fur for coats and for garments. You know what I mean? We use deer hide for our fringes. We use cow hide for our clothing or whatnot. You know what I mean? That's lets you know, man. Those Gadites, man, those are definitely Israelites, man. You had some?
Oh, I was gonna say, on that subject of, using hide for garments and stuff, I wanted to say, shout out for the Lord's 53rd annual Passover.
You know
going down here in Florida, look out for, garments of cowhide or, or lamb hide, it's going down.
You giving away too much. No, I'm just like, no, for sure, man. It's going down, man. Listen, if you haven't already, man, you need to put that order in for them garments. You know what I'm saying? Hit up I.S.U.P.K in Florida, man. He's right here in the state, so he can get you right before Passover, man. Hope I ain't giving the brother too much work, because I know he worked like crazy, man, getting them garments together. But yeah, definitely, man, that Passover is coming up. Like Austin the Shot just said, you want to be extra ready for that. You know what I mean? And get them cowhides and deer coats and goat coats and all types of stuff. But at the same time, remember that you're in Florida. It don't get cold like New York at all. So, without further ado, was that an answer? Or what have you?
Yeah, that is.
Verse 40.
Okay. Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 40. And he that eateth of the carcass of it shall wash his clothes,
Right.
and be unclean until the even.
Mm-hmm.
He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and be unclean until the even.
Right, man. You know what I'm saying? Some animal die and you take and eat it, or you carry it over your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? You find a deer that's been killed. You're unclean now. And you gotta wash your clothes. It don't say to bathe here, but in the last one we read it said bathe, correct? Where it was saying if it's died for itself or if it's torn,
Right.
you gotta wash your clothes and your body, correct? Right. So you know what I'm saying? Should be the same thing here. I'll double check on that, but it should be it's the same law. It died of itself, and you went and ate it, or you carried it over your shoulder, or picked it up, or touched it. You unclean until the even. You gotta wash your clothes. You gotta bathe your body. Read on.
Verse 41. And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination.
Right. So we're not gonna get into all the unclean animals, you know what I'm saying? Like we'll say that for another class. Of course, this book, like I said before, is the guideline to Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian life, man. We go by this book when we need to know what animals to even eat. You know what I mean? What we can't eat and what we can't eat. The Esau, he got a study guide on, what mushrooms will get you high and what ones don't. You know what I'm saying? He got a whole list of things that you can eat for certain stuff. You know what I mean? Well, we got a book that tells us what's clean and unclean to eat and what to do if you become unclean. You quarantine yourself, you wash your clothes, and you wash your body, man. I think we got that one. 7. We got Leviticus 17, right? Chapter 17. I think we got that one. Shit. Yeah, we already got that. Okay, so all right, let me get Ecclesiastes. Hold on. And yes, like it, sir. Jimmy Remy said science is in the Bible. That's absolutely correct. It's absolutely correct, man. Science is in the Bible. Science is not real science does not contradict the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That pseudoscience that your fake Israelite group believes in, that contradicts the Bible. But real science tells you is written in the Bible. You know what I mean? We get Ecclesiastes 12 and 13.
The book of Ecclesiastes.
We are in the Old Testament, in the King James Bible, the book of Ecclesiastes. Go ahead.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Listen, people in 2021 still to this day don't know the purpose of life. All right, they don't know. They don't understand, for one, what this Bible is even written for. They give it all types of different reasons for existing, reasons that they have no idea about. They think it's for rulership for the white man. They think it's for, to keep black people enslaved or oppressed. They think it's, just basic instructions before leaving Earth. They think it's all these things that have nothing to do with what this book is really for. But it's written right here in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Read it again.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Let us hear the whole reason why this book is even written. Read.
Fear God.
Fear who?
Fear God.
Fear the government.
Fear God.
Fear COVID-19.
Fear God.
Fear of vaccine.
Fear God.
Read.
And keep his commandments.
And keep his commandments. That's what this whole book is about. That's the whole purpose. It's the whole conclusion of the whole matter, man. To fear God and keep his commandments. Read.
For this is the whole duty of man.
This is why man was put on earth. Man. This is why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians exist. This is the whole duty. This is your purpose in life, man. To learn this Bible and keep the laws and commandments of the Most High, man. To fear God and keep his commandments. That's it. It's not to be out here celebrating Christmas and celebrating Thanksgiving, and next you're gonna celebrate New Year's. You talking about New Year, new me. You still the same dumb nigga that's still breaking the law, says commandments. When you gonna get some wisdom and fear God and keep his commandments, man? When is that gonna be a New Year resolution? You gonna wait until the white man tell you that you gotta think of a new strategy and then let it be the same strategy you've been had? You know what I'm saying? Or are you gonna change completely, man, and say to hell with Esau's holidays, to hell with eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and celebrating the murder and destruction of your family? You know what I'm saying? And start to learn this Bible, man, and keep the law, statutes, commandments, and then become a priest, man, and teach brothers and sisters that they need to be doing the same thing. Become a mother who teaches her children that she should be following after the priests and prophets of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? When are you going to change your life that way? Because you see that every year after year, you know what I'm saying? Right now we're going 2021 and 2022. But every year prior to this one, we said, oh, new year, new me. I'm going to change and do something different. And we've been doing the same thing, man. We've been getting killed in the streets by our oppressors and by our own people. We've been selling drugs and using drugs year after year, man. Because we don't care about the duty of man. We don't care about the whole conclusion of this book. We don't care about fearing the Lord and keeping his commandments. We care about our own selves, man. We are selfish as a people. And it's the blame of the Christian church and your oppressor, man, who taught you Christianity. That's who you blame for this, man. Because the Most High never said to do that, man. The Most High only told you to fear him and keep his commandments. And now you turn around and you follow everything that your oppressor does and tells you to do. I mean, we gotta turn our lives around, man, and then we'll start to get up out of this captivity that we in. Right? So we're gonna drop that. Still no questions. Let me get James 1:22. That's a good one. New Testament. And even though these are called Old Testament, New Testament, Apocrypha, this is all one book. It's all teaching the same thing. There's nothing new in the New Testament. There's nothing new in the New Testament. You know what I mean? It's the same laws, same commandments. So we're gonna get James chapter 1, verse 22.
The book of James, chapter 1, and verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only.
Right, man. You have to do these words, man. You have to do the word is the law, statutes, commandments, right? So you are to do those things. You are to do and keep the law, statutes, commandments, and not just be observers or hearers of the word, right? You can come to you can go to church every day. Let's say you go to a church where they teach the Bible miraculously. They actually open up this book and they tell you that you got to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, and that you can't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Let's say you come in here. Let's say you come to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You hear us teaching the Bible. You hear us saying what a man got to do after he has sex with a woman, and you just hear it, and then you don't turn around and do it. You know what I'm saying? You're really not doing anything. You can't just be hearers of the word. You got to be doers also, right? Read on.
If I may, but James, like you just said, this is one book, from front to back.
Right.
And it proves it because James is saying what you said, we read Moses said earlier.
Right, exactly.
Observe and keep all the commandments.
Right, exactly.
James is saying the same thing. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so, it's heavy, like this book, it never changes. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, we decided to play a different game. We decided to keep a different set of rules.
Right.
And that's our oppressor. Okay, right. We do what he say and follow, and we trying to play his game. Okay, instead of doing what the Most High said to do, and be separate and do something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's heavy, like right there, what you just brought out. That's James is saying the same thing Moses said.
The only person that changes it, like you said, is your oppressor, is your Christian pastor. They change it. They saying, oh yeah, no, that's Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, that's why we gotta make sure that brothers and sisters know that. Like, okay, it's called the Old Testament, but there's nothing different than what we're reading right here in James.
And that's so true because even though we was eating pork, you know what I mean? And we came up out of slavery and we were just doing all kinds of crap, right? But he made a commercial, you know what I mean, that solidified it for us. Pork is the other white meat, you know what I mean? Like, okay, then now being gay is an alternative lifestyle. Like, we listen to his interpretations of everything, and then when we come out and give the Lord's interpretation of it, they say we twisting.
Yeah,
we twisted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
we cherry picking.
Right.
Like, wow.
When the oppressor just totally changed, and you are with it. You know what I mean?
All the way with it. Man, that lets you know we just some good slaves, man.
Yeah.
We are some A1 slaves. Right. Esau couldn't have picked a better slave. He knew exactly what he needed. When we was over there in West Africa, he knew exactly, like, no, we don't want none of y'all. We want them niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like we want them.
Everybody knows. It's in the book. They know if we go against our power, he's not with us. We are good for the getting.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's it. And we as Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, if we don't have our power on our side, we are good for the getting. I don't care what we going into slavery.
Yeah.
It's slavery, 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 slavery. It's all over the Bible. You know what I mean? So that's heavy.
Yeah, man. Yep. This is why it's so detrimental that all Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indigenous people come back to keeping these laws and commandments, man. That's why it's quintessential that you do that, man. Because otherwise, this is going to continue. You're going to still be marching in the streets saying no justice, no peace for another 50 years, for another 100 years, for another 400 years. You know what I'm saying? And nothing will change because even though you saying no justice, no peace, and you marching, you turn around and you celebrate their holidays.
Listen, you're right. Guess what, though? Hey, no commandments, no laws for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. If we walk around saying no laws, no peace, no peace. You know, the Lord is gonna destroy you. You know,
like we shouting our own doom.
Right.
Like, we like no justice, no peace. Like
right, no laws, no peace.
No laws, no peace. Like yeah, you getting what you asking for. You don't want to keep the laws, so you're not gonna get no peace. You know, no matter how many boots you put on the ground in marching, you know what I'm saying? If you're not putting boots on the ground and keeping the laws, you know what I'm saying? Then you won't get no peace. You won't get no justice. You know what I mean? So that's it, man. Speaking of which, man, so we can get on. Was we done here? What was we? All right, let me finish this and then I had a precept for what you just said. Okay, it just slipped my mind. Yeah, I mean, shoot, we can go to the milk. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. You know what I'm saying? But you can go ahead and finish this thing.
Book of James, chapter 1 and verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
Right. You only fooling yourself. You only fooling yourself, man. If you like, I come to class every Tuesday, every Wednesday. I'm in Officer Kazak class every Monday, and I make my check-in. And on Saturday, I'm at the Sabbath service, and I'm checking in and this and that. And you not keeping the law, statutes, commandments. You only fooling yourself, man. You're not fooling us. You damn sure ain't fooling the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You in here, you checking in, and you can keep checking. You can check in till checking in gets old, and you won't be fooling us, man. You'll be fooling yourself. You'll be fooling the Most High, man. Because everything done in the dark comes to the light, and you reap what you sow, man. You know what I mean? So you only fooling yourself, man. You got to be doers as well as hearers or observers, man. That's on that. Let me get Deuteronomy 28 real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 28.
Yes, and 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments.
Listen, now we started off this class by showing you what would happen if you listen, if you observe, and you did the commandments of the Most High, right? You will be put on high above all nations. Well, now Moses is giving you the reverse effect of if you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? If you hear it and you don't do it. Read.
To observe, to observe and to do all his commandments in his statutes, which I command thee this day.
And the stat. So it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that what?
That all these curses.
That all these what?
Curses shall come upon thee.
Right.
And overtake thee.
Anybody in the group, in the chat, man, what does that mean, man? What does it mean if you do not listen to the Most High and keep all his commandments and his statutes? You know what I'm saying? That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. What does the come upon thee and overtake thee mean, man? You know what I'm saying? It is written, to get this answer, man, all you gotta do is look at your life. All you gotta do is look at the life you lived until you've heard these words. Look at the life as you see your mama living and your auntie living and all your family that's getting together right now to celebrate, you know, some fat white man sliding down the chimney that they don't have because they live in the hood and giving them gifts that they had to pay for. Look at the life that they live in right now. And you tell me, what does this verse right here mean, man? Anybody. Anybody in the world, matter of fact. You see, if you a Slovakian, it's up in this group chat, it's up in these comments. You know what I'm saying? You from Russia or something. That's ain't Santa Claus Russian?
Well,
the original.
Right, it was Saint Pete.
Saint Nick.
Right. Was it Nick or Pete?
I believe it's Saint Nick. Okay. We can look it up.
Okay. Thank you. So he was from that was in the dark ages. Okay. He was taking care of orphaned children.
Yeah. It was a brother.
Right.
The original, yeah, it's Saint Nick.
Okay.
Saint Pete is something else. It's not even a person. Well, I mean, I guess it would be a person, but it's a place. All I'm getting is a place. But yeah, Saint Nick or Saint Nicholas was the person who, he looked out for the orphans and brought them gifts or whatever. It was a brother. You know what I mean? But now Esau turned it into a holiday where they worship this image of some fat Edomite wearing red and, with a big beard or whatnot. Like they always do, right? They always, anything that a brother is known for, or a brother does something good, like creating the washing machine, they're going to turn around and put their face on it, right? Just like Christ. The brother died, gave his whole life away after he kept every law, statute, commandment written in his book. And he put his life on the line and died for the crimes that we committed, the sins that we committed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a brother that exists today that'll take all the crimes that I committed and be like, hey, listen, Your Honor, I'm gonna take the punishment for this, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and you want to give him the death sentence, I'll take that. I don't know nobody that'll do that, right? I don't know a single brother today that'll do that. You know what I mean? Because this man was not the average man. You know what I'm saying? This is the greatest man to ever walk the face of the earth, right? And they turned around and stole that image, man, and put their face on it. So they do this to everything that we have. Anything that's great that a nigga does, they turn around and put a white face on it. Well, in this case, they put a white face on this brother who was doing something good for the less fortunate. and they turned it into a wicked holiday, man. They turned it into the worship of themselves once again. And now your mama goes out of her way, works all year, and tries to get gifts to put under some damn tree so that you can feel like she love you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what your behavior was like for the whole year, and no matter how hard she worked, she gonna turn around and give the credit to her oppressor. She gonna say, "Yeah, my oppressor put these gifts under this tree." You know what I'm saying? This wasn't me. I didn't have to work for this. You got to thank Santa Claus. Thank Santa Claus for all these gifts up under this tree. You know what I mean? When she worked hard, when your father worked hard and had to work 2 jobs, and then got a third one for the holiday. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like, black people, they actually celebrating the, the white man's society and economic system. Okay, you celebrate that, by supporting it. Okay, by making sure at the end of the year, at the end of their fiscal year, they did well.
Right.
You make sure, you hold up this society by spending all your money, I got you, by spending all your money, and giving it to Esau to, solidify his yearly,
Game.
right. So we celebrate our oppressors' society and way of living and culture and everything by making sure they stay on top.
Right. Yeah, man. You just want to keep your oppressor above you, man. When Deuteronomy 28:1 tells us we got to serve the Most High and we'll be the ones ruling this earth. Man. You know what I'm saying? They'll have to keep Passover or Purim. You know what I'm saying? They'll have to do what the Most High said. Every nation on the earth will have to do what the Lord says to do. They can't even work on Saturday. The white man makes you work every damn day of the week and pull double shifts. When the Lord said, man, you can't make nobody work on the Saturday. Your ox and your ass got to be off on Saturdays. Meanwhile, your black ass working every day. You know what I'm saying? But you want to keep those people on top. You want to keep your oppressor in rulership above you. You want to vote in Donald Trump and Joe Biden. You want to vote these people to be above you. You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what, man? You're going to continue to be at the bottom. You're going to keep working 7 days a week for 20 hours a day. That's going to be your life because you choose to serve them rather than serve the Most High, man. You rather keep their commandments and do what they say rather than do what the Lord, your God, says. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to continue to be in that situation, man. And we as a nation suffer because of it. It's not like, we all getting out the hood because Commander Gen.YAHANNA keeping the law. You know what I'm saying? We still oppressed. We still gotta work, and some of us work 7 days a week still, even though we in the I.S.U.P.K, even though we keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, even though we check in with our generals and captains, man. You know what I'm saying? But as a nation, we still under these curses because we ain't get it together.
Yeah, that's heavy what you're saying and true. And that's why when we read it, it said the Most High told Moses to speak to the house of Israel, not just to the Levites,
right?
You know what I mean, or not just to a certain individual in our house, but it goes to the whole house,
right?
Okay, so if this house is unclean, if somebody in this house is unclean, that's the Lord will judge the house,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, so we got to get clean. We got to clean ourselves up and come up out of Esau's ways and become separate and holy, and that's how the Lord will bless our house again.
Right.
Okay. So that's like we have to keep these laws that the Lord gave us. You know what I mean? That's the only way the house is going to be clean. If He tells you to do this and do that. That's to keep the house in order and clean and righteous. And if you're not doing it, then that's iniquity, that's sin, and your house is, unclean.
Right.
Okay? So just like the small example of bathing after, after you copulation, you know what I'm saying? So these laws is what's gonna govern, is what governs our house, and keeping them will have the Lord on our side. And even if you love the white man, you should want, you know what I mean, to have your house clean. Okay?
Absolutely, man. And that. So nobody answered the question that I had in 15. What does it mean that the curses shall come upon you and overtake you? Well, you know what I'm saying? It's really self-explanatory. Like, we just sat here and talked about it the whole time. All these things that we're going through today, you know what I'm saying? Having to worship some fat Edomite that's supposed to come down the chimney, you know what I'm saying? Having to work 12-hour shifts all year just to give the credit to somebody else.
Not having your own economic system.
Not having your own economic system.
Every other nation has their own economic system, okay?
Science.
Even though they come in, like everybody has their own economic system. That's why they do business with each other.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? We can't do business with nobody. We are the business.
Right, exactly. We're the commodity. You know what I'm saying? If I may, like that's so heavy because right now, like we don't like, the last thing that black people can think of is war with Esau, right? When China is at full out war right now with America over economics. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's all over economics. Exactly. And it's about who gets to have more economic freedom than the other. Right. You know what I'm saying? Who gets to be above the other?
Who gets to call the shots?
Who gets to call the shots? And Chinese people live here. Right. You know what I'm saying? And they don't vote. Right. They don't partake in these holidays. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They have their own. They got a city in every hood, really. Every state, at least they got at least one town called Chinatown.
They have their own economic system.
They got their own economic
system. In the midst of Esau's system.
Right. And is not the same as Esau's system. It's not the same. They listen, a lot of their money go untaxed. You know what I'm saying? And these chinks crossing borders unchecked. Meanwhile, Mexican can't even get back to California. You know what I'm saying? They can't even get to California where they have an inheritance. You know what I'm saying? They can't get to Texas where they have an inheritance. You know what I mean? They get called aliens and migrants and put in cages. You know what I'm saying? So those are the curses that's gonna come upon thee and overtake thee. And you can't outrun them. You can't evade them. They're gonna be on you forever, man. You got something?
No.
We're gonna drop that. Let me see. Let me see something real quick. 13. All right, now I'm gonna say that for later. I'm gonna get the book of Matthew, chapter 4. All right. We can start at 1. put it in the chat. Wow. Chapter 4, verse 1. So we have Matthew, chapter 4, verse 1. Why is it moving like that? The screen left. Anyway.
The book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 1. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil.
Right. Like if you're not familiar with this story, man, Christ was led into the wilderness, right, by the Spirit, meaning the Spirit came over him and just had him walk off into the wilderness. You know what I mean? And he was there 40 days and 40 nights. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward in hunger.
Right, he became hungry, man. He was there 40 days, 40 nights, fasting. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you even do that? What man can not eat, can restrain himself from eating for 40 days and 40 nights, man? He got hungry. It's like, man, look, I'm hungry, man. That's what happens when you don't eat for 40 days and 40 nights. Read.
Verse 3. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread.
The devil, man, came and told him, listen, man, you so hungry, man, and you got the Spirit of the Most High on you. Make that stone. I heard you turn water into wine. I heard you can turn water into wine and make, feed 1,000 people with fish, with a loaf of fish and a loaf of bread and 2 fish or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Make that stone bread and you won't be so hungry. Right? What Christ said, man.
Verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone.
Right, man. Like Christ was excellent at cutting. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew just how to cut somebody. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, he's battling himself in his mind. You know what I'm saying? This is all going on in his head. Like, he know he could just make the stone turn into bread. But he checked himself. Like, you know what? Man can't survive by bread alone. You know what I'm saying? But by every word that proceeded out of his mouth, out of the mouth of God. You know what I'm saying? What is the word that proceeded? We read it earlier. What's the word that proceeded out of the mouth of God? You know what I'm saying? His commandments. His law says his commandments. That's how you live, man. That's how you not going. The white man gave you a crumb and you think that he's good now. You know what I'm saying? He gave you some silver rice and now, you good. Now the law is done away with and Christ died for all that and stuff like that. When that's not how you live, man. You one of these high-paid slaves that dribbles a basketball or can make a catchy song or you can dance real good and you think that you got it made, man. You know what I'm saying? You think that these curses don't exist, that these curses is written in Deuteronomy don't apply to you because you got a little bread in Esau's kingdom. You think that because you got a multi-million-dollar contract that now you beat the curses. You know what I'm saying? That these curses didn't come upon you and overtake you. Well, guess what, man? When you see them flashing red and blue lights in your rearview mirror, your bread does not matter. Your bread does not matter to that devil who's going to pull you over for a tail light. You know what I'm saying? Or because you missed you had your turn signal on for too long. You know what I mean? He's gonna get behind that car and you're gonna feel like a regular nigga, man. You're gonna feel like me. You're gonna feel like the lowest nigga that exists on earth. All that money that you got will cease to exist, man. You know what I'm saying? Because 2 bullet shots in your cranium will not matter. Will make that money that you have not even matter. You know what I mean? But what you should do is keep these laws and commandments, man. And guess what? That is the the word that proceeds out of the Most High's mouth. And that's what's going to make you live, man. That's what's going to allow your children to live and your children's children to live, man. So you want to say something?
Oh man, that was what you said. Like the bread. But Christ said you can't live by bread alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? That like, and like you said, that Esau get behind you. He's not gonna care about your bread.
Right.
Because you think that you can live by bread alone.
Yeah.
When the Lord saying you can have bread, but if you ain't got these laws, you gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So that's heavy, man. But that was heavy.
Most High Christ. I learned from the men above me. That's all. I just, you know what I'm saying? So Most High Christ. You know what I'm saying? For Commander GEN.YAHANNA, holding down this truth, man, since 1969. You know what I'm saying? Where these prophets came back and showed us what these scriptures say, man. You know what I'm saying? And that we are to keep these laws and commandments. Because we can't survive on bread alone, man. You know what I'm saying? How many brothers you know with the highest paid rappers in the game all dying because they suffer drug abuse? You know what I'm saying? Or die because of suicide due to depression, or die because they was in some gun violence with another brother. You know what I'm saying? Or with Esau. How many of us die, man? It don't matter how much bread you got. Not literally or figuratively, man. Not that paper money with your oppressor's face on it, and not the stuff that you fill your belly with, man. It's all synonymous. No matter how much bread you got, man, that is not what you're gonna live off of. You understand? And you brothers ought to, put that into your lives, man, and understand that when it comes down to these women, man, because like not to get into that topic, but listen, man, like that woman can cost you your life, man, because of what you'll do for her. You know what I'm saying? And how you like who how you arrange your priorities, man. You know what I'm saying? We do things to impress women. You know what I'm saying? Solomon, like sister asked about Solomon and his goals. You know what I'm saying? Like Solomon, he was trying to impress a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like he was what's it called? What they would call a Mac. You know what I mean? The whole Song of Solomon chapter 1 is spin game. I am beautiful, you know what I'm saying? I'm black and comely, you know what I'm saying? They telling him his cheeks comely with rows of gold. You know what I'm saying? It's because, he understood how to get a woman, right? And what you do to get a woman, man, could be detrimental, man, if it's not according to the words that proceed out of the mouth of the Most High. If you're not trying to get a woman according to the laws that's written in this Bible, then you are going to fail at getting a woman. And that woman is going to cause you your life. So, you know what I'm saying? So since it's 9 o'clock, man, we're going to go ahead and end it there. I guess I'll pass it over to the priest and officer. Nope. What? Okay. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? With that, man, we're going to end the class. Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Thumb Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah to all the sisters, man.
You don't want to do that.
I don't know that.